Welcome back. So, I just wanted to have an evening where I went into my craft room, which I call Xanadu, and do a little bit of crafting. I'm not ready to work on my mouse tree house, which is that big object you see there on the right of your screen. So I decided to work on my 2026 Christmas junk journal. And I have done junk journals before, and I specifically made a junk journal, I think in 2020 for Christmas. And what I did is, I followed the traditional junk journal guide. You just, use your Christmas scraps and cards and tags and tissue paper and stickers and all the great stuff. And you build a little work of art using, some kind of vintage book. I used a vintage Christmas book called The Night Before Christmas. It's a golden book. And this year I'm doing a little golden book classic, Jingle Bells. I don't even remember this Jingle Bells book when I was a kid. I do remember The Night Before Christmas. But yeah, so I'm just getting cozy watching one of my favorite 1970s British comedies, Fawlty Towers, with John Cleese. And I absolutely love this TV show. I can't really tell you where you can watch it. You could try BritBox or Acorn. We own this set, so this is always there for me whenever I feel like watching some nice, cozy British comedy. So it's like a typical 1970s sitcom, but with accents. Lovely accents. I'm putting together some pictures. This was a very special Christmas because it was the first Christmas with all three grandkids. Two of these grandkids are brand new. We have a 6-month-old and a 6-week-old. So we had two grandbabies, brand new. This was their first Christmas. And, originally I wasn't going to be in town. We were going to go to back home in Corpus Christi, but our truck needed a lot of work. So we had to cancel that trip and stay in town because it just wasn't worth the 12-hour drive. I don't think we would have made it. Bear said no. There was this one back tire that we've got to replace. And so anyway, that's just how it is. We live frugal. We don't go into hock to make a trip. And we were blessed that our daughter came up to see us. So Celeste and her partner Annie came up to see us from Corpus Christi, and Evan came up to see us from Georgia. So everybody was together except for Max, but he had a wonderful Christmas with his his created family, with his friends and what have you over in Fort Worth. He just could not do the trip. He just is exhausted, and I totally get it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I think of all the things that I'm enjoying as a empty nester, and this is it. Because back in the day when we had all the kids living with us, if I did a craft, it was always on the weekend, and I didn't have a specific crafting room, so it was on a TV tray in the living room. So to have an entire room all for myself, and there's no bed in it, because trust me, if there was a bed in here, I'd be napping on it. I love the fact that Bear and I each have our own room, and then we have our love nest, if you will, and that is our bedroom, and it is extremely clean and extremely dark and quiet, and we got this wonderful comforter set, and it's just cozy for us to sleep in, and then he has his room that he does his stuff, and he has his hobbies and his collections, and I have my room that has my stuff, and there is no clear description of what my room is supposed to be for, though it does appear to be a craft room. But in reality, it's just my room. I mean, I can do whatever I want with it. I've been crafting a lot. I expect to sew my very first outfit in, 16 years? Yeah, I haven't made an outfit for myself in 16 years. So I expect to clear the table, get my sewing stuff all set up, and make me a lovely Easter outfit. And I think that since, you just have to be thoughtful and really think about what you're doing with your space. And so if I'm going to be sewing an outfit, I always use the time to think, what else can I sew? Since I have the sewing machine out and I have, all the equipment out and the fabric out, what else can I sew? And you better bet I'm going to sew my grandkids some outfits. So I'm also have on one of my crafting items that I need to do is create a soft dollhouse for my granddaughter and a soft busy book for my grandson. And those will be Christmas gifts. And the youngest will be 1 year old on Christmas. So I think I'm going to make a handmade dolly. We'll see what she gets into, because with her sister, she was in love with dinosaurs from the moment she could crawl. She even would growl like a dinosaur, and it was just the cutest thing in the world. So I'm curious what this little one is going to be into. So I think I'll start working on her doll around August. But junk journals are just, for a maximalist, it is my favorite work of art. I love working with scraps and buttons and pom-poms and glue and stickers and putting together just a beautiful little memory book that you can look through, and it'll have all the Christmas pictures of 2026. And the last time I did this junk journal, like I said, I did it in 2020. My daughter wasn't married yet. The 98s were in college. We call them the 98s because Celeste and Evan were both born in 98. They could be twins. I'm not even exaggerating. They really could. They actually look alike. But Celeste is Bear's biological daughter, and Evan is my biological son. And they were in college. Sam was in high school. And Max had gone off to boot camp. So in 2020, no, it must have been 2019. But anyway, okay, the point is, it was before COVID. And he was, now we had seen him on graduation. But so when he graduated from boot camp, we were there. We flew up to Chicago. He had both his parents there and his step-parents, and we had such a lovely time. But his grandparents, aunts and uncles and siblings had not seen him because he had to stay there. And then then they moved him for A1 school to Florida. So on Christmas break, they let him come home. So his siblings hadn't seen him in almost a year. And it was just such a beautiful time together. And he got to see his family that he hadn't seen in a long time. And he was just the skinny kid. He lost so much weight in boot camp, let me tell you. So I did a junk journal to put my Christmas memories of that holiday in. And it was just such a cute little book. And I was teased when I made it originally. But now when the kids who are older, they look through it, they just think, Mom, this was so neat that you did this. This is so cute. So I hope, now they appreciate my junk journals. And I hope that they can look through this. And, I was going to put the Christmas cards that I got from my Christmas card exchange that I did over in TikTok. And I got some Christmas cards from my wonderful supporters and followers over in TikTok. But I've decided, no, I'm going to save them and with a little hole puncher, I'm going to string some yarn, like red or green Christmas yarn, and display them next Christmas, like at a doorway. Just make a banner of Christmas cards, and that's what I'm going to do with those. But there's just so many things you can do with the junk journal. And this time I did not glue an entire piece of picture or Christmas scrap or like this recipe card for my hot cocoa. I did not completely glue it on the page. I did it to where you could lift up the card and you could see the illustration underneath it. Because let me tell you something, this illustration is just so precious. And I don't know J.P. Miller's work, but I recognize that whoever J.P. Miller is, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, they did a lot for Little Golden Books, and I love their illustrations. I don't know if they did anything outside of the Little Golden Book, but I didn't want to, completely cover the illustration. So I just simply figured out a way to glue at the corners and only, partially glue it so that you could lift up the card and you could see the illustrations underneath, because they do need to be appreciated. And I know that when my grandkids get older, they're going to want to see the pictures underneath, not just the artwork that I'm putting inside it. And I'm actually not done with this. I'm not. I'm not quite ready to call it finished, because I noticed this year I did not have enough ribbon. I don't know how I managed to go into a Dollar Tree and not pick up ribbon, but then I think it's because this year I didn't make Christmas mugs. And last year when I had Christmas mugs, I had ribbons, I had spools of stickers, but I ended up using it all for my Christmas mugs that I sold. And I didn't have that this year, so I just don't have as many Christmas embellishments that I normally have. So I'm going to have to go and find some discount ribbon because, it's got to have ribbon. It's got to have bells. It's got to have, it's got to have more. So I'm not done with it. I just worked on it as much as I possibly could with the stuff that I actually have here in my art room. Scraps from actual gifts and packages that I received or that I had bought to wrap my family's gifts in. And there is one Christmas embellishment that I ended up not using, and it was pom-poms. I have, I don't know what to do with them. They're absolutely adorable. I thought I would use them, and I never did. After I get the ribbon, I might be inspired to do something. I definitely need some bookmarks. So I think I'm going to make a nice, cute little bookmark for the book. I, want to do something with the spine of the book. But yeah, I'm not done. So, but this was fun to work on. And, I usually get lost in here, and Beric will come in and check on me and say, "Are you all right?" "Oh yeah, I'm just doing this." And I really think, I will literally think to myself, where's my stamina? Why can't I sit here for hours? And thinking that I was sitting here just for 30 minutes. And then, I go out of my cave and look at the time, and I have been in here for hours. I don't know why I don't know this. I will watch 3 Murder, She Wrotes back to back and lose track of time. And I think I just got in here. What do you mean? What do I want to eat for lunch? I just made breakfast. But so I really do get lost. And I love that. I love that time just doesn't matter when I'm in here. I really work and I do not stop. Now I'm enjoying this first craft of the year. And I do want to finish the mouse house. So if you see that big white boxy object over to the right, that is supposed to be a tree house, and I have made a decision that I'm going to make it more round and tree-like. It's too boxy for my opinion. So I'm going to work on that. That will be my next craft video, and y'all can craft with me. And but a mouse family is going to live in that tree house, and they're going to be neighbors to the otters and the beaver family that I've already created homes for. And yeah, so as you could tell, I just love miniatures, and I love the critters. You know, I love calico critters. And I believe in Europe and Canada, they call them Sylvania. They're the little felt critters, and they have their little homes. But there is just, I mean, and I bought one for my daughters. You know, they had a little calico critter house. I can't remember what they got. If they got the squirrels or I don't remember what little animals maybe they were the rabbits. But the point is, I loved them, but I wanted bigger critters, and I wanted, I wanted to create their homes as if it was a dollhouse, but instead of the traditional dolls that you could find at any antique shop, I wanted to create their homes. And so I did. You know, it is an art, and I didn't know other people build, little critter dioramas. I'm so happy there's a community of other people creating little homes for their critters. And my critters, they're about the same size. I just think that my beavers are a little bit bigger than the otters. But then if you think about it, in the wild, they are bigger than otters. So, but they're neighbors. The beavers live on top of the otters, and the beavers are a family of 7, just like me and Bear, and our 5 children. And then, of course, Emmett Otter and the Jug Band Christmas is the most special Christmas movie from Jim Henson and the Muppets. I grew up watching that every year from the time I was 5 years old. And as soon as I knew that it was on a DVD, I bought it for my kids. Actually, I think I used to rent it from Netflix back when they had, yes, boys and girls, Netflix was not streamed on TV. You would get an actual DVD disc in an envelope. Yes, you get online and you pick the movies that you wanted, and you paid a membership, and then they would be mailed to you in a couple of days. And because I used to get The Vicar of Dibley, and I even think I claimed it was lost. So that I can keep it. Okay, what are you going to do? Call the cops? This was 20 years ago. But, I love my Vicar of Dibley. And I love my Fawlty Towers. And I think that's how I found Vicar of Dibley. Because in the divorce, I lost my Fawlty Towers set. And also it was very scratched up. So I believe I rented it from Netflix, and then the BBC America commercials would air before the show, and I saw Vicar of Dibley, and then from Vicar of Dibley, I think on their set they had like previews of other shows. That's when I was introduced to French and Saunders. Oh, do not get me started on French and Saunders. And I'll have to do a whole video on how the brilliant comedy duo of French and Saunders saved my life. I'm going to have to do a whole video on that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And I really did enjoy making these crafts. You see how I kind of glue on the side. I do not just glue the whole thing. Like, I'll glue a corner or a whole edge because I want people who look through my books to lift up the scraps of paper, lift up the... Oh, and you know what else I did different with this junk journal? I printed out the pictures instead of developing. So back in 2019 or 2020, when I made the first junk journal, I took the pictures from my phone and uploaded them to the Walgreens photo lab that they have, and then picked them up, and they were glossy prints. But I thought they were pretty bulky, and I don't know. They look nice. They're glossy. They're probably going to last a while. But I just felt like for this one, probably, cost-wise, I had too many pictures. And you cannot glue them on top of each other the way I'm doing now. Like, I have kind of like a flip through. I have like little flip through booklets. That's the best way I could describe it, where I have 3 pictures on top of each other and you can just flip through them. I don't think I could do that if I had, had these pictures developed in a photo lab. So I just printed them on my not very good color printer. And I think it's going to be fine. I mean, if I wanted to and I felt like they were tearing or they're getting worn out, I guess I could go and print them out. I don't know. I want to treat these very fragile. These are little works of art, so nobody should be flipping through it like a magazine. It's an actual, memory. It's a work of art, and it's a family memory book. So, and I think that when you look through here, you can see pictures of my kids and my grandkids, and I don't usually share those images, but I'm thinking that because they're posted in this way, I can't imagine anybody trying to steal. You just hear so many sick things about people taking children's images, and these aren't the best images, but yeah, that's my grandson with his mama and my brand new granddaughter and her mama. And and those were, it's just little scraps. That's my oldest granddaughter right there, and I'm just very blessed these days. And you've got to take the blessings with the crisis. Sometimes our family goes through a crisis, and sometimes we go through immense blessings. That's life. I've always told my kids that you don't take the good times and think, oh, it'll never be bad again. No, Bear and I look at each other, and we are in awe of how happy and comfortable we are. But we know, let's strengthen our family. Let's use this time to rest and catch our breath, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know what suffering could happen to our family. And it's not like I'm looking for it, and maybe my brain is built that way because I am a child of trauma, but I don't expect it to always be wonderful. I don't expect to, for life to be easy, because I've experienced a hard time, in certain seasons of my life. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you later.